I kind of wanted to start with like the wine
Mhm.
distributor and
Okay.
so
So in terms of like what specifically, like finding the right market
yeah,
or
finding the right market.
okay. So then that would be okay, so hold on. So shall I just kind of go through the tools and then and we walk through it using the wine example?
Yes. Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, I need permission to share my screen.
Give me a second. Participants. All right, I made you a co-host.
Okay, great. Okay, there we go. Okay. And so well, we'll just, I guess, kind of look at wine, see what comes up. Let's see, what products. I'm sorry, no, partners. Okay, there. So let's see what comes up for wine. All right, so I'll have to go to where's my schedule B, see what wine, what the HS code would be for wine. All right, and I don't know how much details you have. So this is, remember that Schedule B from the Census Bureau. Okay, we don't need to worry about that. So alcoholic wine, fermented grape, fresh, correct? And then it's flavored wine, I take it.
A flavored wine?
Yeah, so here
No water, no ice, nothing back there? No.
it was just, oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, it was just an option if it said flavored or other. I mean, sorry,
It's
non-flavored
not
or
like a Mosca. Yeah, I would say like just regular like wine.
yeah, okay.
Not
Yeah, exactly.
like yeah.
Okay, so chapter 22, all right, beverages, spirits, vinegar. Okay, so I've got the code. So I'm gonna run it through and then I will tell you
Need to
what
get wider
markets
bottles, right?
pop up. 2205.
Okay.
And I'll just say, like if you hear me saying kind of codes just for the sake of the recording too, so that you'll remember it. Okay, so I'm doing the H oh, what? Okay, so the code is 22, chapter 22 or 2205 up to the 4 digits for Trade Stats Express.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down in the chat so I'll remember it.
Oh, cool. Okay.
22 oh
05.
for wine.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Okay.
So 2205. Okay. And then unlike on Tuesday where I just looked at the 2 digits, so I'm going through the 4 digits. So that's the 2205. Let's
Mhm.
see here. Okay, we're looking at exports. Okay. Ooh, is that all we export? That can't be. Oh, I guess so. Okay. From the US, it's very low. 2205 country exports. Okay, so total to the world. Oh, it has dropped a lot. Total to the world is $18 million. It went from 45 million in 2018 to 18 million. So then that means the numbers for individual countries are less. So according to this database from the International Trade Administration, I don't, are you able to see it
Okay.
too? Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I'm looking right now.
okay, so I'm just going over here to 2024, the final column. So it looks like the markets are Cayman Islands, Hong Kong, Mexico, Spain, and Bermuda.
Let
That's
me write that down really quickly.
okay.
So Cayman Islands,
Uh-huh, at 3 million.
Hong Kong,
Uh-huh. Mexico,
Mexico,
Spain,
Mm-hmm.
and Bermuda.
Bermuda. Okay.
I'm just taking some screenshots. I remember all this myself. Okay. So that's the US, which is, wow, kind of, yeah, not as high as I would have thought. But since the person is based in California, let's see what the California numbers are like. So this is all of US exports to the world and then the individual countries. So I'm going to back up and look at it at the state level and see. That may be different.
Okay, I didn't know that you can look by the state.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't get a chance only because of the sake of time, because I had it, I thought about it, but I saw that we would run out of time on Tuesday. But yeah,
Okay.
you have the Trade Stats Express state as
Mm-hmm.
well. Okay, now this is different. I'm gonna have to do a search because it only uses NICS codes. It doesn't use HS codes, and I don't
Okay.
know what NICS codes would be. I'm just doing a Google search. Code for wine. Yeah, wine, I guess. Wine or wineries. Here you go. Okay. So wine, brandy. So 31, 31, 21, 30. Okay. Oops. All right. So the next code, they only give you up to 4 digits. So for the wine, the NICS code, the North American Industry Classification System, looking at the state level would be 3121 for the winery. And that's what I'm going to put in here for the state of California. 4 digits, NICS code. Then 3121. So under that, it just says beverages. All right. And so for at the state level, for the state of California in 2024, this is in millions. So, wow. So to the top markets, starting at 519 million, the top markets for the state of California alone, for the state of California are Canada, the UK, China, yeah, this makes sense now, Japan, and South Korea. And then Mexico follows after. So for that person, I would really use the state level data over the US data because now you know what's going specifically from the state of California.
Okay,
Okay.
so for the beverages,
Mhm.
it doesn't specify what kind of beverages, right?
No, because see, we only have just the first 4 digits. That's the limitation of this database as I described on Tuesday. It's just the first 4 digits.
Okay.
Yeah, of that NICS code. But I do know, like when I've worked with a gentleman that exports wine, like his would be mainly to Japan and China. So I do know out of the state of California. So I do know that those are top markets specifically for wine. But how
So
we
you
can
said
get
Japan, China.
which is listed here. See, under China and Japan are listed as third and fourth top markets. And so with the wine exporter that I dealt with from the state of California for the last few years, these would be the two markets. He was mainly focused on Japan. China and
Mhm.
Japan. So that's why I definitely know from that experience with an actual wine exporter, these were the two markets that he was focused on.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm. And that's about as specific as you're going to get when it comes to the state level data.
Mhm.
So that's where being creative, two things. That's what being creative to kind of get additional information to put the pieces together. But there is another database. I don't really exhibit it too much, because it's not free. It's not anything that somebody could just go access and then you're dealing with raw data, but there are databases where you can look at exports from the different states in the United States, or the ports, that's really better said. Like, let's say out of the port of Los Angeles, and then you will have the list of the companies. So you'll know, is this a company from the state of California, or is it a company from another state that's using the port of LA? From that information, you can pull out the Californian-based wine companies that are exporting from California to, wherever it is around the world, and kind of see where are they exporting, and then, who's actually buying in these different markets. So there are databases where you can be more specific, and it is based on the HS code. It's not based on the NICS code.
Okay.
But yeah, but that's the work, more for the higher level, more specific type of customized market research.
Okay. What's the name of that database? I'm just curious.
There are several, like PIERS, PIERS.
PIERS. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. No, this
Yeah.
is really good and helpful. I'm going to take this information back to my colleague and talk about, like, yeah, I'm going to take this conversation back to my colleague and yeah, no, this
Let's see
is
what it
good.
says. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
and any feedback, that's why, especially at this level, because I'm always looking at, the feedback from the clients, just so that as I continue to put these presentations together, I make sure that it's of value. So yeah, so any feedback from that person, I don't need to know their name or anything, but you just say, hey, they thought it was valuable, or this is some information, other types of information they would be interested in. That would be very helpful.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right.
And so the other one, the other client, like I said, his was vinyl records.
Yeah, let's look. That's a unique one. Let's see what comes
It was
up.
very interesting, product. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what comes under. Now that's one I've never dealt with. So let's see what comes up under vinyl. It's vinyl records. So now I'm going back to that Schedule B search engine to see what codes. That's what we know about your vinyl. Oh, let's see what other. No, okay, other, correct. Okay, so I don't think this applies. Vinyl record, and then it has about technology, magnetic, optical. No, we'll just put other. Okay, see what comes up. Oh, there we go. Fabulous. Oh, okay, so we have chapter 85. Now let's make sure this makes sense. Phonograph records. Okay. This tape, so it looks like it will fall under chapter 85, the broader category, any electrical machinery, equipment, sound recorders, reproducers, blah, 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 blah. Then phonograph records under 8523.80.1000. So that's the full 10-digit code. Again, for like the database that I just described to you, for getting the more granular level detail that I've used for my clients that need that higher level type of research, not just kind of the general based on the free information. This code the full 10-digit code would come in handy, even if you're trying to look at exports, looking at other companies and to which countries they're exporting from the state of California. But again, with the Trade Stats Express, just to kind of get a sense of the top markets, we can only use the first 4 digits. So we'll do the 8523. And let's see what comes up with, at least as a starting point. Okay, so I'm going to start with the US trade. Oh, no, I want that. Okay, I'll start since I have California open. Let's just see what we get for. Oh, wait, no, I still need to go national. National.
So the product would be phonographic records.
Yes, so let me go back. Okay, so that's what I was saying. That has the full 10-digit codes, but Trade Stats Express doesn't
Can
take.
you share that code with me again?
Oh, I could type it in the chat. I'm gonna copy.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, since it's just you, it makes it
It's
easier for
something
me now to
different.
maneuver to the chat. Okay, paste and then. But when I'm doing webinars, it's like I can't do all that. Okay, there you go. Phonograph
Thank you.
records. Is that right? Yeah, phonograph records. Okay. So that's the full 10-digit code. Okay, and I'll just put again, just in case, it's like, how did I get to that? Schedule B, which is at the census.gov. Just type it. Okay. So let's see what comes up just using the 4-digit schedule number. Partners. Okay. 8523, let's see. So what I'm doing, okay, so 8523 they have as prepared unrecorded media. So is it just the vinyl itself or it's the like with actual recordings
Like
on?
old records, like old like
Oh,
vinyl
okay.
records.
Okay, so this may or may not apply because here under 80, let's see, what do they have it for? 8523 for the recording. Okay. So this is something you'll have to discuss with the client. And maybe the client has not exported, I'm taking, right? Before, or have they? Oh. Do you know if the client has exported at all before? You're on mute. Okay. If you're speaking, because I see you're not muted, but I don't hear anything.
Oh,
Okay, now I hear you.
sorry. No. No, they were saying that they had shipped to Canada.
So they have shipped. Okay. So then, so again, for this recording, the one thing I would ask that client, is what is the HS code that they use? The reason being is, this 8523 says prepared unrecorded media. So that may not apply, but we can just, I mean, that's all we have to go with right now. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
So I would ask that person, what is the HS code that was used to export to Canada? And then let's see, let me just go to 2024. Okay, and let's see what comes up. All right, so for last year with the code 8523, Mexico, Canada, China, Netherlands, and Taiwan. Let's see if I can. It doesn't let me. Okay, I would totally copy and paste, but it's not letting me copy and paste. So for this client, it came up as Mexico, if you want to jot that down in the chat for yourself. Mexico, Canada, China, Netherlands, and Taiwan. And I must say, only because all the research I've done just on other projects just in the last few months, I didn't realize how much we export to Netherlands. Netherlands keeps popping up as one of the top 5 markets for things. So just throwing that out there, that could be an opportunity. All right, so did you get that? Yeah, there you go. Okay, yep. Great, so that's for the records. And then I'm just going to try just quickly for the state of California. Do the same thing as I did with the wine. Look at the exports from the state of California and let's see if anything comes up. And if so, what comes up? So I'm going to do a mixed code. for, nope, I don't need, for vinyl. So vinyl, oops, vinyl records. Record production, have seen, okay. Oh wait, no, that's not what I need. That's the zip code. Nick code for vinyl records. Wait, no, that's for record companies. That's record companies. Pre-recorded audio tapes. Compact disc. Okay. Integrated. So this sounds like the closest. And again, I don't know if you would have to check with that person on what if they use a NICS code as well. But this sounds close
Okay.
to it. The pre-recorded, I mean, I know it says tapes, but compact discs, it looks like it's a 512250. Let me just make sure nothing else pops up. NICS code.
51225.
Wait, hold on. Wait, let me make sure. Vinyl. Okay, that's for other types of vinyl. That's manufactured. Okay, so yeah, so it looks like that 512250, and that's the NICS code.
512250. Oops.
Okay. So I'm gonna put that in the 4-digit. Okay, maybe not. Okay, it doesn't look like they have any information from the state of California. I typed in 5122 and it says no matches. Just scroll down, see if. Okay, okay, so they don't have all the NICS codes. Okay, so I can't get the information from the NICS codes on this Trade Stats Express. Nothing is coming up using that NICS code. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's like a very unique like product,
Yeah. Right. And that's where and I think I mentioned this, when you have a unique product, that's where really making sure, like when I do research, I prefer that the person tells me the HS code that they use that was confirmed by a licensed customs broker, because when it gets kind of tricky, you don't want to make the wrong selection. So if it's actually confirmed and they have the documentation that they've done their due diligence, then that's what I go off of. Otherwise, with some of these databases, it's very limited. So I think that that's at least from the US level information. For that client, they have the Mexico, Canada, China, Netherlands, and Taiwan in terms of all of US exports. But then again, just to reiterate that this is for the pre-recorded, what was it, prepared, what was it called? Prepared unrecorded media. So there may be a slightly different HS code, or it's just, using other databases. You have the phonograph records, which sounds more like it, if you can get into resources where you can use a full 10-digit code.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's where
So
something
that's
like a
really good to
PIERS
know.
comes in. Yeah, comes in handy. Let's see, and then the other one was the educational services.
Yeah, so I think one of my friends, she worked in
It's cutting in and
and
out.
she started like this. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me better?
Yes.
Let me go.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So one of my friends, she works in construction, right? And can you still hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. And she actually I think she teaches like STEM education training.
Okay.
And then more so related to construction. So like construction education services,
Okay.
and she's wanting to do this like virtually. And I feel
Right.
like this kind of goes on in the line of like I'm really excited for your conversation. Um, this at the end of this month to talk about public contracting,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like this is something that may fall in line with like, you know, educating like communities. Um, but I think, yeah, that's something that she's interested in doing is like virtual STEM education or just STEM education.
Okay. Let's see. I'm just going to see what comes up under this trade map because remember it has the services, but not all. So I'm curious to see. It may be just the broader educational services, but then, like you said, for the end of this month, then I can talk about specifically for STEM education. How do you find the right contracts and bid on these contracts? I focus on that particular type of education, but I just want to see here. Okay, so let's see. Education. See if any education. Hmm, Education. No. Oh, they got education related. Services. Anything comes up. Okay. And this is one because I'm working with services-based clients now. Okay, here we go. Other personal culture. Education services. Let's see what pops up. Okay, and again, this is just very general. List of exporters. Let's see. For the select, no, that's exporters. We want, can I, where's the US, United States was an exporter. Okay, there we go. Okay, list of importing markets for, okay. So, this is the other thing I don't like about this database. It puts the countries in alphabetical order versus by, which is exporting the most. But anyway, you can see that with trade map, I just typed in, this is the broader personal, cultural, recreational, education services, just to kind of get a general feel for what markets. So it says list of importing markets for service exported by the United States. Okay, and so here are the list of countries. And as I mentioned on Tuesday, unfortunately, the data is not as up to date when you look at the Trade Stats Express for products. So the most recent available data is from 2022, but nonetheless, it's still helpful when it comes to services. And we can see the list of different countries and what they import from the United States of the broader educational services. This is in the thousands. So, so about 54 million here, 3 million, so on and so forth of the countries that export educational service. This would be a starting point for that client, and then that's where I would take it from this as a starting point and going through all the pages. And when I would download it as an Excel sheet, that's where I will just manipulate or have it order the data so that we can see what are the top countries, just like we do with products. What are the top countries that import educational services, broadly speaking, from the United States? And then there are other resources I tap into, and some of them I can talk about at the end of the month on finding out what's going on within a particular market as it pertains to a specific type of educational service, such as STEM, and exporting that service virtually. So this database would be the starting point using this tool to identify markets for educational services, generally speaking, and then developing a strategy, whether it's from the government procurement side, and especially for services, for the educational services part. And I only say this because last year I did work with an educational service provider that did very well by the beginning of, was it this year? Within some months after we worked together, I think the beginning of this year, where there were some other methods of getting that service, an educational service virtually into a foreign market. Oh, that was beginning of last year. Yeah, last year I worked with him a couple of years ago. Yeah, and he just took off. So yeah. So this would just for now for that client, will that client be in San Diego for the educational service? Or do you know?
Yes, they will be.
Oh, perfect. Okay, that's good to know. So the educational service and the wine and vinyl, will they be there as well? Just so that I can kind
Maybe
of.
the vinyl, the wine person will not. They're based in the Bay Area, in Napa,
Oh, Napa. Okay.
Sonoma, up there. But I
Okay.
do go and meet with them. Um, I may lean on you to do a workshop that is very industry specific for,
Hmm.
because my client actually kind of represents like a consortium of like a different wine makers and distributors in um the Bay Area, Napa, Sonoma, and he works with them and provides marketing support for them. And so
Okay.
it may be good to do like maybe a like some type of like workshop that is very industry specific to kind of help them, kind of just what you told me.
Hmm.
And then I also definitely want to talk to them about some resources
Hmm.
and regarding the STEP grant, if that way they can kind of like get some funding to go to like trade shows and really like promote their wines at the trade shows potentially.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, that would be great. All right, so that's good to know, and that would be very interesting on the industry level, so that all the questions anyone has will be all, and any examples I give will be geared toward that industry. And then for the
Yeah.
person for like vinyl, I'm gonna have to like, just kind of do a little bit more with the vinyl, but for the educational services, especially knowing that, then I can tailor my material or just have that in the back of my head so that I can talk about the educational services side and how they could export their educational services to other markets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, this has been really helpful. I really appreciate it.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad because and again, if when you share this information with anyone, I'm going to stop sharing my screen just for now. But if anyone has any feedback, especially when it comes to other types of information that would be helpful, that's related, of course, and within reason, but that would be helpful. Just let me know so that as I plan for the end of this month, I can have that in the back of my mind and be prepared to provide some useful information and resources.
Okay. No, this was good. I really enjoyed it. And thank you for taking the time to chat with me. And
Mhm.
this is also helpful because our team is working on building out like country market reports for our
Right.
clients. And so like this is really good helping them firstly identify like their proper NICS codes and I mean like you said, you do need like a licensed customs broker to
Yeah.
officially come up with the HS code and the but I think this is very helpful.
Okay, and I'm just curious with the reports, have they gone out? Like, how does that work? It's going to the companies that have attended some of the webinars, or you have a whole cohort of companies that's getting this report, and are there companies that have gotten their research reports to date?
There's a few companies that have gotten their research reports. We're still working on the last batch for our
Okay,
export training grant.
okay,
Some of them have like attended the workshops, whereas some of them have like they're just clients that we work with through another program, like our SB TAP program, that
okay.
may have not had the opportunity to attend the workshops, but they've still expressed interest in exporting.
Okay, because what will help if you have like kind of a list of the registrants and then what their companies are, and then maybe just check off, yeah, they already got a report. And I don't know if you see those reports, but whatever markets that were identified, or whatever the top market, that's what the research report is, right? Identifying markets for them?
Well, I think it's more so like it's more so like country specific.
Right. Yeah. So it'll say like, hey, just like we did here, let's say Canada is the top market, then we do a deep dive into Canada, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that would be helpful for me, because then I can make sure that the information is not just general, that it's tailored to the people that are going to attend. So let's say if someone is told Canada is a good market, then I can talk about how do you find the procurement opportunities based on your industry and what have you
Mm-hmm.
to export a service mainly, or even your products to the Canadian market. So if I have that, I think that would be so much better for the people versus kind of this general overview of government procurement. And let's say, like for example, Africa, if somebody's talking about Africa and USAID, well, that doesn't apply anymore. So the
Oh
more
my gosh, let's
information,
not talk about that. Terrible.
yes, I'm still just no, but anyways, I'm slowly recovering. But just yeah, where I can look and make sure, because even when it comes to that, things are constantly changing. Luckily, I have people that call and give me updates on some things, but it's hard to keep track of everything. So the more that I know, then I can make sure that, I'm talking about what is actually feasible in 2025 and that will apply to them based on the report they have, whatever market is identified. And so that if they have like, hey, Canada is the market, I can speak to exporting to Canada versus like, I'm still not quite sure where to move from this report.
Okay.
Letter is
Okay.
spotted here.
What was that?
Ah,
Sorry about that. Um, yeah, okay. Well, no, this was really good. Thank you again for today. And it was
You're
kind of just like
welcome.
an informal conversation. And
Yeah.
but I do look forward to seeing you at the Bell Business and Government Contracting Summit. Your speaker date, I think, is June 28th.
The
And so
28th. Yeah. So I will go into that Sketch app and then look that up by tomorrow, because it's just been so many things going on. So I have like definitely tomorrow. So I'm going to go into that and then make my reservations and all of that stuff, get all of that squared away. And then I'll just probably, if not by tomorrow, by Monday, just a quick summary of, what I just said about information about the people that have registered, so that I can make sure that my whatever I share on the government procurement side is relevant to them, so they
okay.
can take steps. And then
And
just
then like
send me this video, the recording too, so I can remember everything as well.
yeah, absolutely. And then also in the Sketch app, you can also put like resources too. Like
Okay.
I think any websites or tools that you think people should utilize, you can like put those links in your workshop synopsis. Because I wrote a workshop synopsis
Okay.
and I wrote a workshop synopsis and yeah, I just if you can go and change it and add to it if you like.
Okay, I sure will.
Okay.
All righty. Well, thank you. So yeah, so we'll be in touch. But I enjoyed this. Yeah, just informal, just have a chat. And so I hope this information is helpful to those 3 clients.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.